Today we're in Sitka, Alaska, and it's going to be a great day.
We are going to hike the Tongass National Forest. It's a 4-mile hike. We're very excited to get to do this today. So we should have a lot of interesting things. So come with us.
Have a general waiver for filling out. We don't have anything like poison ivy, poison oak, anything if you just brush up against it, you're going to get anything. There are a couple of plants that we look out for. Devil's Club is one of them.
Yeah.
We'd have known about bacon
Thank you.
grease that's splattered on someone in the middle of the table.
That is true. So we talked a little bit on the bus about our temperature and our rainfall. So in order to be called a temperate rainforest, we need to be temperate, 40 to 60 degrees year round. Need to get enough rain. We need to get at least 60 inches. We have around 86. And we don't have forest fires. In areas that have forest fires, they consider that their element of change. Here, our element of change is wind. So the wind will blow the trees down, and then new growth happens on top of the trees. So you'll see that all through the forest, these trees down. You can see how the roots are like enough moss and mulch developed on it. Basically, all this forest is living on a fine layer of mulch. So whatever ungrowable surface there is, even a rock, could be your car if you don't wash it long enough. And trust me, I've seen trees growing on cars. So the mulch, that's all that this tree is sustaining itself on. So you can see how the roots are perching around the stump. Eventually that stump will decay, and you'll see interesting like little nooks and crannies, and it looks like sometimes that's what a critter's made. They're just using what nature's made. squirrels, they like to be in this hemlock. And notice all the little shavings around there. So, let's see. This is the cone from the western hemlock.
Oh.
Yeah. This is the cone from the Sitka spruce. And there's a little nut, microscopic nut in there that the squirrels like to find. And this is after they've had their snack. So you see the growth that's happening. That's a nurse log. So you can tell this tree fell down a long time ago because of the growth that's on it. This is a little purple shore crab.
Oh yeah.
That's the purple ones get the average maybe that big. I've seen them bigger though. I've seen them like so big. The green ones, that would be a big green shore crab. and this grass, well, okay, the grass right in front of us, that actually gets covered daily by the high tides. That's a different type of grass than the grass that's out in the middle. The grass out in the middle is more like that beach grass. It's a lot higher, and so it doesn't get covered daily, but more by the extreme high tides. That grass in the middle is the type of grass the bear and the deer eat. So that's kind of why they're in this area. They've got all this grass. This is called Stargavin Creek. This way, don't do it on purpose because it makes people want to get off. It has a natural sway to it so that it's not rigid. This what looks like red clay in this area. That is our volcanic ash. Has that red tone to it because it's high in iron. But basically all this vegetation is living on this volcanic ash. So ungrowable surface, moss collects, that fine layer of mulch collects between the two. So this vegetation is just living on a fine layer of mulch. Y'all see the fungus on the side of the tree here? This is a hard fungus called a conch. We call it bear bread. The bear don't eat it. We don't eat it. That's just what it's called. It's also referred to as artist conch because you can pluck that off and that portion that's attached to the tree will sit and act as a base. That white portion that's underneath will sit up and act as a canvas. lot of people ask, you know, what happened? Did a fire come through here? No, we do not have forest fires. Remember, that's one of our criteria. So this is a muskeg. Muskeg is a Canadian borrowed word meaning a grassy bog. So what has happened here, we're in a bowl shape in the land. This bowl shape filled up with that volcanic ash. So this is acidic standing water because there's nowhere for it to drain. So notice how these trees are growing on mounds. If the tree gets too big, it's going to need to send its roots out further, and it'll go down into that acidic, boggy area, and it just won't be able to sustain the growth of that tree. This is, a lot of people think it looks like Spanish moss. It's not Spanish moss. This is a lichen, and a lichen is a fungus and an algae that grow together symbiotically. This is our banana slug. So we go out of our way to protect the banana slug because they are a reseeder for our forest. So the seedlings and whatnot will stick to its little behind. They'll go over these nurse logs, and those seedlings will detach into the moss. And because of the sticky substance, it'll stick down in there, and the rain mixed with that sticky substance acts kind of like an epoxy. The skunk cabbage. Yeah, and it's one of our, most predominant plants through the whole season. Obviously very showy in the springtime. There's flowering plants come up in the spring. It's in the same family as a calla lily. Looks like a calla lily. And it does have a little fragrance to it, especially when the sun hits it. I say it ranges all the way from a sweet jasmine fragrance to a skunky smell.
been a super
Wet.
wet, rainy day. We
Pretty
set out
cool
this
day.
morning, 100% chance of rain, and it did not disappoint. But we had a great day anyway. We hiked over 4 miles in the Tongass National Forest. It's a
Rainforest?
yes,
Yeah.
and we had a blast. We didn't see any wildlife, but we saw lots of different kinds of plants, and it's just really cool.
Yeah, it's been a good day. If you're a shopper, you'll like downtown Sitka. There's a lot of places to go into, a couple restaurants, and yeah, it's been a good day.
And here's one of the cool things we learned. This port is one of the only ports that none of the shops are owned by the cruise ships. They are all owned by locals.
That's true.
So we thought that was pretty cool. So all these signs that say locally owned, they're for real. They are really locals. And we saw a lot of handcrafted type things too. It was really neat.
Well, thanks for watching, y'all. We appreciate it. And remember, please like the video. That means a lot. Subscribe to our channel if you want to see more content. And leave a comment. What did you think of Sitka? Thanks.